my name is Sydney. I'm a Facebook ad expert at Vertex Marketing Agency, and on this YouTube channel, we talk about all things Facebook ads. And today I want to talk to you about the 6 mistakes advertisers are making in their ad account. I'm going to share with you some of the main mistakes I see them making through different audits that I've done, talking to clients, and also just experience in making these mistakes myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you first what the mistake is, why it's a mistake, and then what you should be doing instead. If you don't already subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do hit that subscribe button. And if you learn anything new, or if you're making any of these mistakes, please do hit that thumbs up button. And if at any point you have any questions or you want a little bit of a further explanation on these points, drop a comment in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Now, before we do get started into these 6 mistakes that I see advertisers making, do know that they're not really in any chronological order. So just because I say, number 1 or number 5, it doesn't mean that it is the worst or the best mistake. But I would definitely suggest that you stick around for the entire video so you can learn from these mistakes and stop doing them in your own ad account. So the first mistake I see advertisers making is having a complicated account structure. I'm seeing it less and less these days, but it's still pretty common, is that a lot of marketers are using the platform in a way that they used to in the past. However, we do know that in 2022, a lot of things have changed with just the whole Facebook ad platform. So previously, it was known that you could create a conversions campaign, create 5 to 10 different ad sets, each targeting one audience each, and then each have different ads within those ad sets to test which audience is the most reliable and most profitable audience, and then grow from there and continue testing audiences. Now, as we're seeing, there's a lot of things changing with lack of data in iOS 14. You need to simplify your account structure. Stop making this mistake of overcomplicating. What you need is one core campaign, whether you can consider that your prospecting campaign or your winning campaign. And this typically consists of one audience that is currently working well for you. For a lot of our clients, it's just completely broad, and for some others, it's like a stacked interest audience. And within that one audience, you have your ads. Now, the main focus these days really should be on the creative rather than the audience testing, because we don't really get that data anymore from Facebook. Now, if you are like a much bigger brand, you get millions of visitors on your website per day, you may also have a second campaign for retargeting campaign. But for a lot of smaller brands, what we're using is actually just one core campaign where we are basically prospecting for new sales and new customers and getting your message out to more people. And the third campaign that you might have, or second if you're a smaller brand, is a testing campaign. And this would be to test any new creatives or audiences if you want to make those tests in that testing campaign. But that testing campaign is separate from your core campaign. So we really need to simplify account structures these days and just have one core campaign, maybe one retargeting campaign, and then one testing campaign. Now, the second mistake I see advertisers making in their ad accounts is using campaign budget optimization, which that is not the mistake, but using CBO and having 4 to 5 different ad sets that they're testing. So they're testing 4 to 5 different audiences, and within each of these audiences, they have 2 to 3 ads, and they're testing everything. There's a few mistakes here. First of all, campaign budget optimization, in my experience, works best when you have an audience that you know already performs well. Because when it comes to campaign optimization, what I've seen is that the majority of Facebook's budget is going to go into the largest audience. So a few tips here. If you are going to use campaign budget optimization with multiple ad sets, you want to make sure that these ad sets are similar in size. And you can see that by the sidebar when you're in your ad set settings. You want to make sure that they're similar size. So let's say, for example, you're using an interest-based audience and then a custom audience based on your email list. That email list is going to be so much smaller, and majority of your budget is probably going to go into the larger audience. And so when I see marketers going and trying to test, I guess, a campaign and also ad sets and ads, there's so many variables when it comes to using campaign budget optimization in a testing campaign. So not only are you trying to test the different audiences, but you're also trying to test the ads. So my recommendation is that if you're going to try to test something, eliminate all the other variables that you can in order to test that one aspect. So if you want to see which ad performs best, have only one audience that you're testing these 2 or 3 ads. I would never go above 2 or 3 ads if you're testing. And if you're trying to test an audience, only use 1 or 2 audiences to test against, and do make sure that they're similar in size. I know that CBO is sort of recommended these days. And yes, it is going to fish the most probable people who are going to convert. But when you're trying to make learnings from a campaign or learnings from an ad set to like improve yourself, improve your ad account, having campaign optimization on with multiple ad sets and multiple ads is going to create a lot of confusion into what is actually working and what is not. So you want to eliminate all the variables that you can and just test one element. Now, the third mistake I see marketers making is making changes to a campaign or an ad set that is already working. And this comes back to my point about how you should be just simplifying your account and having 1 to 2 campaigns, one that's your core campaign, one that's your testing campaign, to simplify it. This mistake that I'm seeing is people are running one large campaign with a few different ad sets and a few different ads within each ad set. And when they want to make a change, they go into a campaign that is already working. Now, the issue with that, if you're making a significant edit to your campaign, is that it's going to put your ad set back into the learning phase. Now, learning phase isn't the end of the world. It happens to the best of us. It can be difficult to get up to 50 conversions in 7 days. So, don't worry about that, but you don't want to be touching something that is already working. And this is why it's so important to have one core campaign or one winning campaign and then having a testing campaign. All of the changes that you make should be in your testing campaign. Once that works, duplicate that ad or duplicate that ad set into your winning campaign. Nothing should be touched within an ad set that is already currently working. Obviously, there are exceptions, but going in there after 3 days, making changes to the audiences and making changes to the ads and changing the copy with something that you think is already working is going to delay your results. And you're probably going to see a drop in results once it has to be published and get reviewed, and then it's going to go back into the learning phase. If something is working, let it be. Create a separate campaign or a separate ad set to test something out and let something be if it's working. The fourth mistake is using only images for their Facebook ads. Now, I typically see this in smaller brands where it's the business owner that's running the ads themselves, which honestly, kudos to you for even being able to run ads. However, we know that Facebook and Instagram are favoring videos, and also every other platform like TikTok are favoring videos over regular images. So even though you're paying for your ad to show up on someone's newsfeed, having a regular image doesn't really blend in with the other content that is online. Now, the exception to this is like maybe if you're running a sale or a discount where, a single image really just gets to the point. Or there's another exception to brands that have a really cool product like retail where it's like clothes and everyone kind of knows what the idea behind it is. You don't really need to explain the product, and really what the visual is just the actual product and people know what it is. You know what I'm saying? In that case, images or carousels or like dynamic creatives, they can work. However, for the majority of e-commerce brands, not everyone is in the retail space. So a lot of times you need to explain what your product is and why it would benefit someone in their life. The best way to get this message across is by using videos. And also it blends a lot better with the platform. You need to think like, is my content even watchable? Does it compare to all of my other competitors and to the content that people are seeing on their newsfeed anyways? If you look at it and it doesn't really compare with what other people are seeing, even though it's like a user generated image, if it's not having the elements of what an ad needs, like the hook, the problem, the solution, the demo, or maybe a testimonial, and then a call to action, people might not be directed in the right way. And so if you're trying to scale up your ad account or increase the budget and you only have images, you're going to find it hard to consistently see results. Another point to this is that images have a shorter lifespan than videos. If you think about it, once you see an image and it goes by your newsfeed, you know exactly what you've seen. You don't really need to like read anything else or watch anything else in that image because it's all just plain right there. It doesn't move. Whereas for a video, on the first try, you might watch a 3-second video. Then you might watch the 5 seconds of the video. Then you might watch the full 30 seconds on the third time that you see it, depending on like your mood or how much time you have. So a video can last a lot longer than an image can. So this helps for people who are trying to scale up, who also like don't really have much time to dedicate to, content creation. If you can get a few good videos that really hit on those points and have a good video structure, you're gonna see a lot more success. Yeah, that's my fourth mistake, is that accounts are using only images to advertise. Now, my last point sort of segues a little bit into my next mistake that I see advertisers making is underestimating the importance of creatives. So as I mentioned in my first point, the main focus these days for your Facebook ads should be the creative. Audiences are not really as important. Your biz strategy is not as important. What you really need to focus on is the creative. People spend hours and hours every day on social media. They are consumed by content. And so if you are not up to par with the quality of content that people are consuming every single day, you're going to see a hurt in your results. And starting a company these days does mean that you are going to need to advertise. You're most likely going to be advertising on Facebook or Instagram. That's probably why you're watching this video, because you started a brand and you need to advertise for it. It's not like the old days where you would just kind of start up a company and sales would randomly come in, you go like door to door. That is sort of still important, but these days the best way to get your message across and to explain what your product is and why people need it is by video. So if you're not really sure how to create good videos, I mean, I have a few other videos that I've talked about that, like Facebook ad creatives that convert, how to generate new angles, so go check out our other videos about that. But essentially, you want to either work with a creator, hire someone onto your team that is good at taking videos. You also want to be keeping up to date with the trends that are going on TikTok. TikTok has like literally a library of trending videos and an ads library. Facebook has an ads library. So you need to be utilizing these platforms that are showing you, hey, this is what people are consuming. These are the best performing videos that we've seen. And you need to understand that the majority of those are going to be video. So like I said, hire someone on your team or get someone to do it for you. Go on a site like Upwork or Billo and work with creators that can help you create videos to share your brand with more people. And the final mistake that I see advertisers making is using only Ads Manager to evaluate the success of their ads. The truth is that these days, Ads Manager is not accurate. And I've seen this and I know that this is true because we've actually done a few tests. The first one is we created a landing page for a client, and the only way that people would be able to get to this landing page is by a Facebook ad. That's the only way that they'd be able to get there. Then we tracked the results that we would see inside of the lead form that they were submitting. And this wasn't a purchase, it was just a lead form. So it actually requires less information and the attribution window should be shorter because if people are just submitting their information, it requires less effort than actually making a purchase and getting out their credit card and making the, buying decision. People could only get to that landing page from a Facebook ad. Then we saw how many people actually submitted the lead form into our CRM system, and we compared that with the data that we saw inside of Ads Manager. And still at that point, only about 70% of the conversions were being tracked. And that's just for a lead form. What we're seeing across other clients who, for example, the only platform that they're advertising on is Facebook ads. They've made tests in the past where if they turn off their Facebook ads and they see a total drop in results and they're getting no orders and no sales. So they know that the majority of their sales are coming from Facebook ads. So in this situation, we can compare the amount of sales they're getting inside of Ads Manager and the amount of sales that they're getting inside of their POS or their point of sale system. And still then we're seeing it varies from day to day, which I'm not too sure why, but we're seeing about 60 to 70% of the conversions are being tracked and actually shown inside of Ads Manager. And a lot of the times, Facebook will associate that conversion to a different ad that's actually performing just because maybe that's one that they saw in the past. So this mistake is huge and I see a lot of advertisers making it, and we're still trying to find the best solution to go about, solving this problem. There's a few ways of going about this to make sure that you're not only looking inside of Ads Manager. One way is to compare your data with other platforms. So for example, if you have Google Analytics for your POS system and Ads Manager, you can compare the differences as long as you're using UTMs for Google Analytics. If you don't know how to set that up, we have other videos that show you how. You can compare that data and see overall, what can I kind of predict are the results for my campaign at the moment. That solution is a little bit like if you're on a budget and you're trying to find the most cost-effective way. If you are a larger brand and you're ready to actually see where these conversions are coming from, very precisely, check out something like Triple Whale or Hyros. They are pretty pricey, but these platforms can really tell you where your sales are coming from almost 100%. Obviously, nothing is going to be 100% these days, and that's totally fine. I mean, that's sort of how I guess marketing has always worked in the past. And the final thing is to make sure that you have the conversion API set up. Now, even with that, all of our clients do have the conversion API set up, server-side tracking to make sure we're both server and browser. And even then, we're seeing about 60 to 70% of the conversions coming in. On some days, it is up to 90%, but there's almost no days where it's 100%. So keep that in mind. So if you're looking inside of your ad account and you're like really disappointed with what you're seeing, you need to look in a few other places, or you need to make like maybe incremental lifts where you turn off your ads and you see what kind of results that you're getting for a week to sort of evaluate how important that platform is for you. But trust me, Facebook is the most profitable platform. It can be very successful and a game changer for your business when it's done right. And these 6 mistakes can really be sort of the issues that you're having with your ad account. And I'm always going to reiterate and continue telling people that creatives are the most important thing that you need to be focusing on. And it is the most important part of a business these days. Everything is digital. And so if you're looking to start a brand, if you're disappointed with the results that you're seeing inside of your ads manager, take a look at your creative. I almost guarantee that that's the issue. You need to take a look at other competitors and see what they're doing to see if you're kind of up to par with the quality that they're putting out, and also with the content that people are consuming for hours on end every day. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I wanted to share with you those 6 different mistakes. Let me know in the comments which one that you're making, or if you're a marketer yourself, what kind of mistakes were you making in the past that you figured out were huge mistakes and maybe hurting your results. Let me know in the comment section below. If you learned anything new today, guys, please do hit that thumbs up button, give me a little like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we come out with new videos like this every single week by either myself or my partner Cedric, who is a little bit more on the technical side of Facebook things. That's it for today, guys. Have a great one, and we'll see you next week's video.